Alright guys, we have JR back on the channel. We are going to dive more into the visas and a little bit more in depth than we did last time. A lot of information coming your way, so stick around. JR, thanks for coming back on the channel. I really appreciate it.
Likewise here, Gio. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, last time we kind of went through the different visas and some of the qualifications you need, and this time I wanted to get a little maybe more in depth. So, but I did want to mention one thing that at the beginning here. Now, tourist visas, the majority of people come in on a tourist visa,
yes.
Mostly at the beginning, and then they convert to maybe a retirement or marriage visa.
Yes.
Now, I was told that so initially you can extend 1 month, and then you can do 2-month extensions, and even 6 month. Now, is that 6-month extension available everywhere or not everywhere?
Okay. The first extension, normally after 30 days, you're only allowed to have the immigration will only allow the foreign national to extend it 29 days.
29 days.
Yeah,
okay.
they're giving 30 days plus the first extension will be 29 days. If we're actually talking about non-visa required,
right,
national, such as from the US, let's
right,
say for example for that. Now the 6 months, as per the latest update from our processing team, the Bureau of Immigration have actually put a mandate to that they are actually not allowing at the moment for the 6 months extension, especially for those who have stayed. I think that's 14 months.
Okay.
But before that 14 months, they can still be allowed to have the 6 months.
Okay.
But so, then again, the general provision of that, there will be an exemption if those foreign nationals that are on tourist visa are married to a Filipina.
Okay.
Meaning they have not yet applied for the 13A.
Okay.
That is also one of the consideration that they can take a look.
Right.
Now, second is if they are actually a what do you call that, of old age or senior citizen already. Over 60.
60 in the
yes.
Philippines. Okay. Okay. What if you live, for example, because I also heard that maybe you lived on Siquijor where there's no immigration office, and you'd have to come. I don't know if there is an immigration or not, but if you had to come all the way to Dumaguete, would you be able to qualify for 6 months, or it doesn't make a difference?
I've heard right now that the Dumaguete office is already not accepting 6 months extension already.
Okay.
Which is the general mandate already from the main office of the Bureau of Immigration.
Okay.
So that will now be subject to the evaluation, and I'm pretty sure there's a reason behind that.
Okay.
Because they're taking a look at right now of what are the factors affecting of that visa immigration or extension per se.
Okay. And after your second extension as a tourist, you would have to get the ACR card.
Yes, you will be required to have the ACR card in your second extension on tourist visa.
On a tourist visa.
So that particular ACR card is normally collected by the Bureau of Immigration, but not necessarily printed right then and then.
Right.
Because if you actually do the second extension for 2 months in Dumaguete field office, the immigration office here, then they will collect the money, but they are not the right office, or they are not the office that will print your ACR card.
Okay.
They will need to send a report to the main office in Manila, immigration, and only the Bureau of Immigration in Manila, which is located in Intramuros, will be the one to print the ID. So that explains why district offices, field offices, and any other Bureau of Immigration offices will take longer time to give you your ACR card, because all printing of the ACR card for the tourist visa is only done in Manila.
Okay.
So check the logistics. If you're in Siquijor, you do your extension in Dumaguete, then Dumaguete will send a report. Then Manila also has their own set of extensions there in their office. Take a look at the volume, and then once they print that, they will actually ship that out to Dumaguete. So that's why it will take some time for them to really give you your ACR card.
Okay. Now I know when I arrived here 7 years ago, with my tourist ACR card, I was able to open a bank account and get a license, but now they're getting much more strict on that, so you can't really, it's very hard to find places that'll do that.
Yeah.
So, what is the difference between so the tourist ACR card you have to renew once a year?
Correct.
What's the difference in the ACR card once you get married or you're on a retirement visa? Any difference?
The main difference is actually the status.
Okay.
Because once you have because there's a misconception right now that even to the bank, not all banks know what is ACR, but
Right.
ACR I card is an identification of any visa issued by the Bureau of Immigration.
Okay.
So one of the visas during your extension is what we call tourist visa,
Right.
or what we call TVV. That's
Uh-huh.
the temporary visitors visa.
Okay.
So it has also the ACR, which is the gray one,
Yep.
which is actually valid for a year.
Right.
And then you will have to be required to pay again and to be issued again with another ACR. Now, by the context of definition itself of TVV, that's temporary visitor.
Okay.
When we go now to the other visa, which is 13A, for example, a
Uh-huh.
spousal visa, and then that particular visa will then be issued with another ACRI card. Now that will be forming part as a permanent ACRI card.
How often do you have to renew that one?
Okay, for the ACRI card of the spousal visa, you will be given a spousal visa for probationary. That's one ACRI card.
Okay.
Normally, the color of that is purple.
Okay.
Okay, it states there for the probation of the 12 months, and then once you do the amendment, then
Okay.
you'll be issued with another ACRI card.
Okay.
That's the gold one. Now, after that amendment of amendment from probation to permanent, then you will be renewing that every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
Yes, as
What-
long as the marriage is still there.
Right. That's right. Now, is there a difference in cost between, like I don't know off the top of my head, but the tourist visa ACR card costs this much. What about spousal one? Good for every 5 years. Is it around the same price or less?
The cost of that. Okay, let's put an estimate for that, because if when you check the official receipt of the Bureau of Immigration, there are actually items there that are actually basing on a foreign exchange because they tag that on the dollar
Oh,
rate. So that might
okay.
have a difference. But roughly, it would cost you between $100 for the first 5 years
Okay.
and $150 more or less in the next 5 years.
Okay.
So that's how it costs.
That's much less than
Yes.
what a tourist one would cost. Now, once you have that ACR card, it's good for 5 years. Is there any reason I have to go to immigration anymore? Do I still have to go once a year for anything?
Yes, you need to do the annual report.
Annual report.
Yeah, that is a requirement of the Bureau of Immigration. Normally, it will be required in the first 60 days of the year, any
Okay.
calendar year. So
Okay.
calendar year, so that's approximately like from January 1st to the end of February. So it will be required to have that.
What is the purpose of that? What's the reason they're asking for that information?
Okay, the annual report is also to for the Bureau of Immigration to check if this particular foreign national who has been issued with that particular visa is still in the Philippines or not.
Could be, or also I suppose maybe passed away or
Yes,
something like
yes.
that. Okay.
Because by context, I would like to inform your subscribers as well that when there would be a separation of the marriage, like for example, if you have the spousal visa,
Right.
you will be required as per immigration policy or laws to downgrade your visa from spousal visa back to tourist.
Back to tourist.
Separation or your Filipino spouse had passed away,
Uh-huh.
that should be you will be required to have your spousal visa
Right.
back to canceled and downgraded back to tourist.
Okay. So if you have a spousal visa in the annual check-in, is your wife having to sign on anything? Are you still having to confirm, yes, I'm married, yes, we're still together, or?
There are actually there are few information that the Bureau of Immigration will collect from you. So
Okay.
it's not that complicated. You just need to show up in the Bureau of Immigration, be there. Not necessarily that your spouse will be with you. Then they will require you to fill up some information. Right now, the
Okay.
Bureau of Immigration is actually improving a lot in terms of their online facility. So expect that there will be improvements along the way or changes along the way.
Okay. Now, hypothetical, let's say you're married, you're on the spousal visa, You have a huge fight. She goes back to her mom's house, maybe. And can she end your spousal visa? Can she go in and
Yes.
say, okay, even if you haven't filed for annulment or anything like that?
Yes.
And then what if you're back together again in another 2 months? You mend things, you're back together, then you'd have to apply all over?
Apply again.
Wow.
There is actually an information when we talk to our processing team in Manila, because there is one case there that the Filipino spouse had actually filed a complaint against the foreigner husband.
Wow.
And then immigration find the merits out of it, canceled the visa, and he was just surprised.
Wow.
What happened? And I don't know if they have been reconciled, but to the event, going back to your question, they may actually have that one canceled, then apply again for the 13A spousal visa if they have been reconciled.
Okay.
Also, for those foreigners who are still keeping the 13A and spousal visa and they have been separated already, and their Filipino spouse or other half have passed away, please take note that the reconciliation of your downgrading will start from the date of separation or the time of death.
Okay.
Otherwise, if the Bureau of Immigration will found out that you still have that, then they will actually be imposing penalty during the downgrading.
What is considered a separation? Is it just simply moving apart from each other?
Yes,
Maybe.
as simple as that. A physical separation, and also if they have filed an annulment here.
So really, she holds a lot of the power that she really, if you have a bad argument. So be very nice to your spouse. Bring a lot of flowers and candy. But so in reality, if it's possible, it's probably better to get a retirement visa.
Yes. Because you will never know.
Right.
I have been talking to some of our clients already that's having the spousal visa. And reality check, they have some differences.
Right.
They have cultural differences from the Western to here, and you cannot actually develop that in a few years. It will take some time.
Sure.
And then again, I had the time to talk with the foreigner. I had the chance to talk to the Filipina spouse to mend everything. And luckily, they're still together.
So you did some counseling, some marriage counseling.
For those who are actually like, for those people who are being close to me also.
Right.
They became my good friends.
Yeah.
And come up to a point where in a certain foreigner come into play, I would highly suggest to take a look at what's really your plan.
Right.
If there would be a visa that will be independent from anything else,
Sure.
then that would be the best possible visa that you will have.
So maybe it's okay to do the spousal visa at the beginning, but it's in the long run, it's better to go into the retirement visa.
Retirement visa, because it is an independent visa. It's not related to any work visa or work contracts or any spousal contracts. Don't get me wrong, circumstances might come in along the way.
Sure.
I'm just being practical, and I think this is also one of the things that our foreign friends, when they come to the Philippines, their expectations is well managed.
Sure.
And they will not be on the assumption that everything is working the way they want it to be here, because it's way totally different here.
Okay. Now, we had also talked about if you're married, you can, if you leave the country and come back together, you can get 1 year balikabayan.
Sure.
Now, is there anything required with that? Do you still have to get an ACR card if you're on the 1 year balikabayan?
Okay, that's a good question. Because normally, once you enter the country with your spouse and you're still on tourist visa because you have not yet applied for the 13A or the spousal visa, you'll be given a balikbayan.
Okay.
Because you entered in the country together.
Right.
If you're not, then you will be on tourist visa. Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Okay.
So what documents you can actually keep a copy of your marriage certificate as your initial proof that you're married.
Okay.
And then for the question of the ACRI card will be on, do you really need the ACRI card?
Right.
Because within that 1 year time frame, you are not required to get an ACRI card.
Okay.
But if the need within 1 year or 12 months arises, like, okay, the foreigner decided to obtain open a bank account. They may have the option to do a voluntary ACRI card registration.
Okay.
The color of that is red.
Interesting.
Okay. So we have different colors already: gray, purple, gold, and red. So that particular voluntary ACRI card for Balikbayan will only be done in the main office at the Bureau of Immigration in Manila only.
In Manila. Okay. So you have to actually go physically
Yes,
to Manila
yes.
to do that. Okay. Now, hypothetically, people could continue to just leave and come back
Yes.
once a year and just keep getting the Balikbayan. But if you stay longer than the 1 year, would you just extend? How would that extension work? Would it be like a tourist, or would it be?
Yeah, that's a very good question again. Speaking of the Balikbayan will only be given to the non-visa required foreign national. Okay, let's just say American. And American are actually allowed to stay in the country for maximum of 36 months.
Right.
So when they enter the country and they given the Balikbayan, then they can actually extend on the second year up until the third year.
Oh, within the country.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
Okay.
that would be extension after the first year of initial Balikbayan privilege, which is 12 months or 1 year.
Okay.
So if they intended to stay more than 1 year, they can do the extension and it will go on a regular tourist visa extension.
I see. Okay, interesting. Well, I think we covered a lot today. Are there any other benefits, in your opinion, other for moving to a retirement visa or a spousal visa? What are the benefits from just being on a tourist visa?
If they're not sure yet that they would be settling here in the Philippines, I think the tourist visa would work perfectly.
Okay.
And I would actually encourage all my foreign friends or clients already that okay, you can actually stay in a city for it to start, leave your things here, do some rentals there, and after that room around. Because you will never know, Cebu City might fit for you or not.
Right.
Dumaguete might fit for your needs or not, or how do you see yourself retiring or living in the Philippines?
Right.
So, but for those foreigners who have already decided to stay here in the country, then you have your visa options along the way.
Okay.
So, choose your visa option. Like for example, if you're married to a Filipina, one good advantage of taking that, if you decided to do something in the Philippines and you set up a business, and you will be exempted for the alien employment permit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you can actually manage your business legally here.
On the marriage visa.
Yeah, on the marriage visa.
But not the retirement.
The retirement visa, you will be required for the alien employment permit, which is that is an additional requirement apart from the visa from the Labor Department here in the Philippines.
Okay. One last question to wrap things up. Now, with the retirement visa, there could be, if it's military, a $1,500 deposit. Without it military, maybe $10,000 or $20,000. Now, I have heard that you can take from that for maybe leasing land or buying a condo. Are there any other situations you can take from the deposit, or just those two?
Yes, those are the two common things for you to withdraw your visa deposit. But there's also one that is actually you can use that visa deposit, for example, $20,000 as a final payment of the condo that you purchase.
Okay.
But it has a requirement or qualifications on it. That particular developer should be accredited with the Philippine Retirement Authority.
Okay.
That particular development is also accredited with the retirement office.
Okay.
Now, how does it work? For example, you purchase a condominium of 5 million pesos. 100,000 US, approximately at 50,000 exchange 50 pesos exchange rate.
Okay.
Now, you can pay if it's pre-sale or pre-construction, you can pay the 4 million, and then you're gonna tell the developer, hey, I have my retirement visa, I already put it in during my application. Since you are accredited and the project is also accredited, then please go to PRA and actually tell them that I will using my $20,000 US to complete my entire full payment of the property. That is also okay.
Okay. And leasing land, you can use it as well. You said for leasing land.
Lease to be specific, that would be long-term lease of a house and lot.
Okay.
Now, let me expound a little bit. That should have a proper title.
Okay.
And that should have a proper tax declaration between the land and the house.
Okay.
Without that, it will not push through.
And you can't use that deposit to build a house.
No.
Can't use it for that.
Unfortunately, no.
No. So really, it's long-term lease on a land in a house or buying a condo. Really, are the two main things.
Sure.
Can you use up to 100% of your deposit for that?
Which one?
For buying a condo, let's say.
Buying a condo is one of the basic, one of the two common way of withdrawing your visa deposit.
The whole thing you could?
Yes,
Okay.
you can withdraw. But the terminology, as always, I have set an expectation to our clients. Normally, I would tell them straightforward. You cannot actually take out right then and then that 20 grand.
Okay.
You need to buy first the condo.
Okay.
You need to have that ownership registration to your name before
Okay.
you can actually withdraw the
Okay.
visa deposit. But it will not take that easy. Because in layman's term or a simpler term, they will put a lien on the title. And the lien will approximately be like this. This is not really the exact term, but the lease, the sale, the mortgage of this property shall be subject to the approval of the Philippine Retirement Authority.
Okay.
So once you have that, then that will be basically an exchange. They give you your 20 grand and they put a lien on your property. What does it mean? It means that your property has a restriction already. If you decided to sell that, buyers will take a look at that. What happened to that lien?
Okay.
Okay? So that's how it works. So it's not that automatic you're gonna change. No. And also everything here in the Philippines takes time and it will actually go through the process. And I can see Gio smiling now.
I have learned that, yes. Yeah. And now, do you have to put the money back in at any point or no?
That may be an option for you to cancel that annotation.
Okay.
So if you intend, okay, hey, if the buyer would actually like, I'll buy your property, but you need to cancel that annotation, then PR, you have two options. So either cancel your visa or put in the money back, and they will cancel also the annotation. Take note, withdrawing the visa deposit will take time.
Right.
It will not take time for 1 month. I'm telling you this as early as now to level up the expectation.
Okay.
One thing is we need to process. The retirement office needs to inspect your condo. They need to check your paperwork.
Okay.
After the paperwork, they're gonna issue a document, which is a letter that will telling the titles office to do the annotation.
Okay.
And after that, we're gonna bring that to the titles office for the annotation, which will also take some time because that's also a different government office. It's not totally linked to the retirement office. That's a different government office.
Right.
And then after that, they're taking the certified true copy. And mind you, they will not take your original title. They will only take the certified true copy of the title
Okay.
as a proof that there's a lien on it. And
Okay.
here you go. You have your 20 grand back.
Perfect. Well, you're a wealth of information as usual. I appreciate you coming on the channel. Guys, if you are coming out to the Philippines and you need any help with your visa needs or extensions or anything like that, check out JRC Visa Consultancy. There's a link for their Facebook down in the description. Thank you so much as usual.
Thank you, Gio.
Appreciate it.